Greetings from the Renville County Planter. We're going to do another video tonight. A couple weeks ago I posted a picture onto my Facebook page, and it was a picture of a BLT sandwich. And I said, when your mother-in-law brings you garden fresh tomatoes, you gotta make BLTs. Well, anyway, a friend of mine, a funeral director friend of mine, Mr. John T. Hill, I believe he's over there in North Carolina, he commented on my post. He said, "Are you using Duke's mayonnaise?" Well, it must be a regional thing, because I can get Hellman's mayonnaise up here in North Dakota, but I haven't seen Duke's. So anyway, the recipe we're going to demonstrate tonight is homemade mayo. Now, John's a good fella. I've never met him in person. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a very dedicated professional, very conscientious, and just an all-around good fella. I think he also helps teach at one of the mortuary colleges with their restorative art program. So anyway, I'm channeling John T. Hill today. As you can tell, John is known for his bibs and bow ties. And you know, someday, if I'm ever in North Carolina, I want a road trip with John, because he's kind of like North Carolina's version of diners, drive-ins, and dives, because he knows where all the pulled pork and smoked places are. Just little holes in the wall that he knows where to stop and get one heck of a good lunch. So, now we're going to channel John just a little bit more. John, on his operating apron or on his bibs, he oftentimes has some encouraging words, or sometimes just a smiley face. But I don't want to be totally like John. I've got a little better one here that I want to wear instead today. Give me just a second. Hopefully all of you can see that. Now, if you don't know what that means, get a hold of my good friend Tom Seymour down in West Fargo. He'll explain it to you. All right, we're going to start making our homemade mayo for BLTs. Now, this recipe comes out of Elton Brown's Good Eats, the early years. And before I go over the ingredient list, and I think this is kind of what John is talking about, it says, tidbit, in 1905, a German immigrant named Richard Hellman opened a deli in New York City. Sandwiches prepared there featured a mayonnaise made by Hellman's wife. The gooey goodness became so popular, the couple decided to bottle and sell two different versions, one of which carried a blue ribbon on the bottle, and then a picture of that ribbon still appears on every jar of Hellman's. And then, personal note, I admit that as much as I love homemade mayo, I do still buy it in jars and will continue to as long as Duke's mayonnaise is made. This Carolina classic has plenty of vinegar in it, and that gives it the zing I crave. So again, I think Duke's is more of a regional thing, something that isn't available up here in North Dakota. Okay, in our ingredient list we have, it's hiding back there, we're going to use 1 large egg yolk, a half teaspoon of plain old salt. Don't use kosher salt here, it's too heavy of a grain, a half teaspoon of dried mustard, an 1/8 teaspoon of plain old white sugar, cleverly hidden in the brown sugar canister. And we also have right over here 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, freshly squeezed, and then 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, and then over here we have a cup and a squeeze bottle of safflower oil. So that is our ingredient list. Okay, the directions say to start whisking the egg yolk, the salt, the mustard, and the sugar. Mix that up until it's good and mixed. The directions also say to mix together the lemon juice and the vinegar. Just good mixed up. Now there's something I kind of want to, oops, ah shit. Hang on. Another thing I kind of want to have close and handy is a spatula. Okay, the next step, he says to add half of the vinegar and lemon juice mix. I can smell that vinegar. Okay, I'm just going to take just a minute and scrape that down. Get all that back into the party. Okay. Now the next step, and hopefully this is going to work. You just start adding just a few drops at a time. Another thing he says in the cookbook is to not use a metal bowl, because the metal bowl will have a tendency to turn your mayo gray, and you don't want to do that. Gray mayo isn't pretty. We're just going a little at a time to get things going here. Trying to form an emulsion. The eggs contain lecithin, so does the ground mustard. And that's going to get the vinegar and the lemon juice and the oil start mixing together and not separate. Starting off slow and easy. Okay, I'm just going to keep going slow till I get about half of it in. Okay, as you can see, I've got about half of the oil mixed into the mayo. Now the instructions say to pour the other half of the lemon juice vinegar mixture in. Again, do that slowly so it has time to incorporate. Hopefully you can see that. I'm going, it's kind of getting more whiter like regular mayo. And I'm going to take just a brief second and scrape down the bowl. And we will continue slowly adding the oil, keeping it all together. Okay, as this gets more and more mixed, you can go a little bit faster with the oil. You have to start out slow. Now, in the directions, Alton Brown says to, once this is all mixed, to leave it sit on the counter for an hour and then refrigerate for up to 1 week. And he said the reason for that is at the warmer temperature, if there is any salmonella in that egg yolk, which is probably unlikely, it does not like the acids in the vinegar and the lemon juice, so that'll give it a chance to kill it. But it probably won't totally kill it. But he also says if you're worried about salmonella, use pasteurized eggs, or pasteurized eggs to get your one egg yolk, which I did not do. I'm living dangerously. And it looks like we are about done with our oil incorporation here. Get this off the wall again. bit more of a mix. It smells really, really good. But let's see how it tastes. There's a little bit of a zing to it. Tastes totally different than store-bought mayo, but it does taste good. Okay, up next, we're to get the bacon ready. Again, this is probably a regional thing. I am going to use Cloverdale bacon, and I'm willing to bet that Cloverdale bacon is not available in North Carolina. This is manufactured down in a process down in Mandan, North Dakota. So again, it's a regional thing. Just like I can't get Duke's mayo up here, you probably cannot get Cloverdale bacon down there. The way that I like to do my bacon is on cooling racks on top of tin foil. I'm lazy, I don't like to wash any more dishes than I have to. And the fat will drip down. And you put this into a cold oven at 400 degrees. And I like it extra crispy, so I will probably go a good 45 minutes. You just kind of got to go until the smoke gets in the air. Anyway, this is how I like to do my bacon for BLTs. I will get this ready to go. Okay. We will stick the bacon into a cold oven. Crank it on to 400. And then we'll set the time for 20 minutes. We'll come back and rotate it, and then cook it for about 20 to 25 minutes more. I let the bacon come to room temperature before I put it into the oven, which I probably shouldn't have done. As you can tell, this batch here got quite well done. It's definitely very crisp. Now, next step, we'll make our toast. Okay, I gotta see if it's done. You do the same thing. Don't judge me. And now we assemble. Get some of our homemade mayo. Spread that around. Next up, tomato on there. These are garden fresh tomatoes from my mother-in-law's garden. You can't buy those in the store. Now, take our bacon, snack. Now I know you're probably thinking that, well, that's a lot of mayo I put on there. Well, my doctor has me on Lipitor. I got to give it something to do. I mean, can't have that medicine doing nothing. Now that right there, I mean, that is the essence of late summer in the form of a sandwich. Mm-mm. Now we've upped the flavor of our humble BLT with homemade mayonnaise. So anyway, John, I know I can't get this mayo, Duke's mayo here in North Dakota. Well, this is something that you can make right there in South Carolina. Now you come up here, John, someday to North Dakota, and we'll get you to lose that southern drawl of yours. Well, we'll have you sounding like a Scandinavian in no time at all there, then. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and don't be afraid to try this stuff at home. I'd also like to thank another funeral director friend of mine, Mr. Kelly Sorensen, who's known for his bib overalls and Bud Light and Harley Davidsons. He lent me a pair of his bibs. So anyway, I got a sandwich to eat. Thanks for watching.